Justin Baldoni's legal standoff with Blake Lively took a dramatic shift on June 9th, when a federal judge threw out his $400 million countersuit against the It Ends With Us actress and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Access Hollywood reports that Baldoni and his company, Wayfarer Studios, initially filed a defamation case against the couple back in January, demanding a minimum of $400 million in damages. Court records also show that the judge rejected Baldoni's libel case against The New York Times, in which he alleged the outlet colluded with Lively to damage his reputation. However, Judge Louis J. Lyman has allowed Baldoni's legal team to amend their claims relating to contract interference and breach of implied covenant by June 23rd. Blake Lively responded to the ruling with a powerful message on Instagram, celebrating the dismissal as a win for women's rights to speak out. She shared, "Last week, I stood with 19 incredible organizations committed to protecting women's right to speak up about their safety. Like many others, I've experienced the pain of retaliatory lawsuits and the shame they try to inflict. While this lawsuit against me was thrown out, so many can't afford to fight back. I'm more committed than ever to supporting women's right to protect their safety, dignity, and their truth. Resources are out there. See below for some amazing organizations. Thank you to all who supported me. Whether I know you or not, I will always fight for you." Her attorneys, Ezra Hudson and Mike Gataudis, released a statement calling the court's decision a complete and total win for Blake. In their words, "Today's ruling is a full and absolute victory, not only for Blake Lively, but also for those unjustly named in this retaliatory lawsuit, Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, and the New York Times. From the start, we knew this $400 million lawsuit had no basis, and now the court has confirmed that. Next, we plan to pursue attorneys' fees, damages, and punitive action against Baldoni, Sowitz, Nathan, and the others at Wayfarer behind this abusive litigation." Access has contacted Baldoni's legal team for a statement, but they have yet to respond. Legal analyst and trial attorney Misty Maris spoke with Access soon after the case was dismissed and weighed in on what this ruling means for the broader legal situation. Just days before the judge's decision, a Daily Mail journalist admitted to an error regarding the phrase "sexually assaulted" in messages that played a crucial role in Baldoni's lawsuit. Those texts, obtained via subpoena, had been used as alleged proof of defamation. However, the reporter not only stated publicly that Lively's publicist never used that term, but also filed a formal affidavit with the court, something the judge considered when tossing the case. Misty added, "It didn't surprise me that Baldoni's entire complaint was thrown out. His defamation claims centered on allegations made by Blake in formal legal filings. Since those were part of official proceedings, they're protected under litigation privilege, meaning they can't be used to support a defamation case. Legally, his case had major problems from the outset. From a legal strategy standpoint, this case always seemed like a strong candidate for dismissal. That's likely why so much of it played out publicly rather than strictly through court filings. It's possible Baldoni's legal team recognized early on that the case had weak footing. It's not shocking to see the defamation suit brought by Justin Baldoni thrown out, especially since it's notoriously tough for public figures to win defamation cases. The standard is extremely high, requiring a showing of what's known as actual malice, which can be a major hurdle. Public figures face an uphill battle in these kinds of cases, which is why many get dismissed early, just like this one. The journalist issuing a major clarification between sexual assault and sexual harassment is important, but legally, it likely wouldn't have changed the case's fate. The dismissal was probably inevitable due to something called litigation privilege. The defamatory claims Baldoni cited were directly from allegations made in Blake Lively's legal filings, and that's off limits in court. Statements made in official legal documents or proceedings are protected and cannot be used to claim defamation. So, this case was likely doomed from the start, the moment it was filed. Baldoni's defamation case against the New York Times was almost certain to collapse from the beginning. Courts have long held that the First Amendment offers broad protections, especially when it comes to reporting on court cases or issues of public interest. For a public figure to prevail in a defamation lawsuit, they must prove actual malice, which is extremely hard to establish. That's why the dismissal doesn't come as a surprise. The defamation suit against Blake Lively involves slightly different legal grounds. Still, the foundation of Beldoni's claim was her complaint filed in federal court. Because that document is part of official court proceedings, it's protected under litigation privilege. That means it cannot be used to support a defamation claim, so it made sense for that case to also be dismissed. Beldoni is very likely to appeal both dismissals, mainly to try to regain some leverage. Remember, Blake Lively's lawsuit is still active and moving toward litigation. At one point, his countersuits meant he could gain access to discovery and argue that he also had claims for damages. With his lawsuits now dismissed, all of that leverage disappears. So, appealing the decisions is likely a strategy to reopen the cases and strengthen his position against the ongoing litigation from Lively's team. The dismissal of Beldoni's lawsuits marks a significant legal win for Blake Lively. Her case is proceeding, and she now holds the momentum as the plaintiff. With Beldoni's claims thrown out, he loses any counterweight he had in the legal fight. This outcome represents a legal and strategic victory for her team, and that's probably why Beldoni is expected to challenge the rulings in an attempt to get some of that leverage back as the broader legal battle unfolds.